September was a pretty exciting month for video games. There weren't very many actual releases, but there were some absolutely massive news stories. So without further ado, let's dive into the gaming news of September 2022. At the start of this month, we saw the release of The Last of Us Part 1, a complete remake of the 2013 original. There was quite a bit of controversy before it came out, but when I got my hands on it, the moment it released, I did think they did a really good job.
Yeah, so I mean, I never actually played it myself, thanks to the quite expensive, was it £70 price
Yeah,
tag?
it was rough, honestly. I was debating buying it myself.
I'm a huge fan, so it was very tempting, but I still didn't because that's a lot of money for something that I've already played. Although it was really expensive, to be fair, I watched you play it, and it did seem so good in terms of the quality of it. Graphics wise, I mean, I only saw the Left Behind DLC and a few clips of the main story, but I watched the whole Left Behind DLC. I don't know if anyone who's watching it has played it, but there's certain clips where there's like lighting, and the lighting just is 100 times better.
Like on the table of the game's console.
And there's a carousel which I thought looked amazing.
Oh right, I took some photos there with the
you got
photo
really,
mode as
really
well.
Good. Yeah, the photo mode was amazing. You could change everything. You could change the brightness, you could change filters.
Right, and something I'd never seen before. Like they've got all the regular stuff, field of view, overlays and stuff, color changes. But you could actually add your own lights into the scene and sort of light individual things.
Really
it was
smart.
amazing. I've never seen that before.
Almost like a studio light at any point you want, which was something that we both never seen, and I thought that was great. And then as a whole, the game did just feel really nice. I mean,
just modern, really. It's just up to the standards of The Last of Us 2, a bit further even.
Yeah, it is the best way to play the first game.
Splatoon 3. Now this was a pretty highly anticipated release. I know we got a comment on the last video about it, and when it came out earlier this month, people seemed to like it, but it doesn't seem to change that much other than adding some new stuff to the previous formula. Yeah,
so I mean, I haven't played Splatoon 3, but I played Splatoon 2, and Splatoon 2 was a great game. I really enjoyed it. And from what I've looked up, it seems if you play Splatoon 2, it's just a very classic kind of, almost like a shooter, but you're fighting to claim turf, essentially. So you have to paint the floors and claim higher territory. And in Splatoon 3, it's the exact same formula, but they've added new weapons, new maps, and they've added a couple new modes. Like, for example, you can now do 1 versus 1 versus 1 in terms of teams, rather than doing just a team versus a team.
I saw it was averaging around 7 out of 10, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a formulaic release of its kind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like just a fresh coat of paint.
And then to wrap up the releases for this month, just I think a few days ago, Slime Rancher 2. The first Slime Rancher was a pretty big game. I did play it all those years ago, and now the sequel has come out. It's been getting really good reviews, and it's been on top selling on Steam for a while now.
Yeah, it's kind of a hidden release because I was looking at some of the Google reviews, and 98% like it right now at the point of recording, and there's not even an IGN review.
Nothing on Metacritic. It was weird because it's a massive game.
Yeah, it's really strange. Over 1,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, so I don't understand why it's so unheard of. But as a whole, people seem to love it. Really, I mean, I had a quick look into when it's new, and it seems like, once again, new map, new slimes. I'm guessing that's kind of what you catch. Right, I'm not too sure how it works. And just a new story, and people like it because people like the first one, and they've just carried it on.
And a massive thing, it's only about just over £20. It should be about $30 US.
Yeah. I don't think many people can really complain because that's not too bad, and the length of it as well. Apparently, it's about 14 hours.
Yeah, that's quite good. Same as The Last of Us, which is a re-release and £70.
Yeah, exactly. So in comparison to that, it's
a really great deal.
Yeah.
So we did actually mention this in the last episode of the show last month, but Cyberpunk 2077 has experienced a massive comeback. Earlier this month, we saw the release of the trailer for the long-awaited expansion, and just a week ago, I think, the Netflix anime released.
I watched the trailer for the anime, and it looked really great, but I'll let you talk more about it since you know more.
I'll talk first about the expansion trailer, because that was at the start of the month. So at the start, we had the trailer for Phantom Liberty, which is the name of the expansion, and I thought it looked really good. They're promising I think it's upwards of 10 hours, this expansion, and also set in a new location. You might be familiar with the Witcher 3 expansions. They're widely considered to be some of the best ever made. So I think it's in really safe hands, and Later on in the month, of course, the Netflix anime, which I watched start to finish, and I thought it was brilliant. I don't watch anime myself at all, really, nothing against it, just doesn't really interest me. But after this anime release, we saw the player count numbers of Cyberpunk on Steam, because we can't actually see on other platforms, but they absolutely skyrocketed from, I think, around 20,000 it was, so it's kind of, really, everyone was saying it was dead. But after that, it was gradually picking up as people started finishing the show, and now it's sitting at about, I think it peaked at 130,000 today.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, considering it's only single player as well, that is impressive.
Right, it was about pulling the same numbers as GTA 5.
Wow, a game that people play online and are obsessively online so much. It's probably boosted sales of the game too.
Oh yeah, about that. It was #1 on the top sellers list, and this was with a 50% off sale. So Cyberpunk has been making the most money out of any game on Steam, which is insane. 2 years after launch.
Got in-app purchase, has it?
No, it will when the DLC comes out, but no, it's just one time £25 right now since it's on sale.
Bearing in mind, GTA 5 is a game where countless people spend hundreds
way too much
of pounds or dollars on digital currency, and it's beating all of them. So that is, impressive to say the least.
As you probably know, the long-awaited 6th game in the Grand Theft Auto franchise has been leaked. Now, I don't think we can show any footage here because videos have been taken down left, right and centre, but there was a lot of new information on display. It seems this was completely external, like it wasn't a rogue employee just decides to publish the entire game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they're 16, then they can't be an employee, really, anyways, for Rockstar, probably not. So, I don't know how they've managed that, but however they have, I'm kind of glad, because it's given us an insight into the game. It's
impressive, even though it's probably not very good.
Yeah, I mean, majorly illegal, but it's, it is impressive. Over an hour of gameplay. Not even just screenshots, which is usually the kind of leaks you see.
Or even like a script. I think it's a good thing that we haven't gotten the story here, because that would be everywhere. It'd be impossible to avoid there. The story would be completely ruined. That was actually the case with Half-Life 2 ages ago. The entire game was leaked, and they had to really redo it.
As a whole, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't too over the top, but it's nice to know it's in development.
And it doesn't seem like it's affected Rockstar. They did clarify that in the tweet.
They seem fine. They seem absolutely fine. I mean, like you said, nothing groundbreaking has been. So,
it's just general gameplay. It's pretty much what you'd expect so far.
Yeah, so as a whole, quite exciting, really. Right, so finally, moving on to the VR side of the gaming news, we have one of the most anticipated releases since Half-Life Alyx, Bonelab, and it is coming out this Thursday.
Yes, that's just a few days, and this trailer was released a few days ago. I think it was a 5-day margin. All we had before that was 2022. No one had any idea whether it was late 2022. I've personally been really excited for it. I know Quest users have had to look at Boneworks and all the crazy physics stuff for a long time. They haven't gotten the chance to play it, but yes, this is coming to the standalone Quest 2. And we don't know what it's going to cost yet, but it does look really good.
Yeah, I mean, from the gameplay we've seen, the ability to switch character just in an instant and just changing from, there's shorter, really fast, agile characters.
Even a massive lanky guy that can just pull people apart.
Exactly, and you can just pick people up, throw them, or be someone who can sneak through vents and run around really quickly. Which seems like something really creative and exactly something they do. And I think as a whole it'll be a really good addition to the Quest. And also it's available on Steam as well though, right?
Yeah, pretty much every Steam VR headset as far as I'm aware. And they did clarify they haven't cut back on the game, the graphics aren't any worse because of the Quest.
I guess we'll only really be able to see the comparison once it releases. But
right, they actually haven't showed any Quest 2 footage yet, which people are a bit on edge about, but I think it's going to be fine because the actual processor on the Quest, the CPU, which is what manages the physics calculations, which is the main part of Bonelab, is actually fairly capable, so it would just be the graphics really, so we have to see what kind of downgrades they have on the standalone side.
And yeah, I mean, hopefully that's coming to cross-buy on Oculus, right?
Yes, so I think so. It should be so that if you buy it on Quest or buy it on PC, you can play it on the other platform without having to buy it again. Of course, that doesn't work on Steam. I'm probably going to get it there just in case I switch out my headset in the future, because then I won't be able to access the Oculus software. But if it does, then that's a great thing for people who have access or will have access to a PC in the future. Again, this is only 4 days away, and I'm expecting it to be up there with, you know, Half-Life Alyx and these great titles of virtual reality history. And really, since this has all the modding capability, even on the standalone side, I think this could be the Half-Life 2 of VR.